The pillows are fluff thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough, join the family. It's all love while we laugh at first criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Oh, oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh please, the puppies need me. Oh please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.
Hello, everybody. I thought I'd greet you with my crazy eyes like, hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the Sofa Squad. Drop a number one if you hear me going off in the comment section. Thank you, Kristen. Hello, Ginger. Emily, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Hey, Crystal. Thanks, Carla. Hey, Tillis. Hey, Katie Cat. Hey, Diva. Hello, Hairball. Hello, Peggy. I hope every one of y'all is doing well. Hey, Donna, how's it going? What's everybody doing? Y'all send Tux some love, prayers, support. She lost her mother recently, and she's one of our mods here. So she's kind of been, doing that recently or whatever, but that happened very recently. And so just send her good energy, good healing energy. She needs it. She needs it. They're going through something right now. Hey, Chrissy, what's up, girl? Hey, Squirrel. Hey, Avery. I hope everybody's doing good. So, y'all, what we're going to be doing today, pardon me, is we're going to go over a few cases and we are going to be looking at some videos with them. Hey, Shayna, what's up? Pardon me. So first of all, we're not really doing this one today, but since I was just working on it, we're going to talk about it real quick and then we'll do another one or whatever. And that is Shabusiness. So first of all, let me introduce Shabusiness with her special little emoji there. Okay, so I was working on the video to do her hearing that she did recently, the one that's titled like tomorrow chat 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. Oh, wait, did I do the time wrong for tomorrow? I have several lives scheduled. And one of them is 6 p.m. for Dr. Barry is coming on to talk to us Tuesday evening. But let me make sure I have those right. The next live should be tomorrow morning at 9 p.m. and then Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Dr. Barry, 6 a.m. Okay, yeah. See, I knew I would mess it up. Even when I sat there and looked at it, I was like, okay, let me see here. I'll change it. Thank you, Kristen, for letting me know. Pardon me. And thanks, Black Widow, for being a member for 8 months. So I was watching the Taylor hearing or whatever, and towards it, well, first of all, they show the body cam footage, right, of her attacking the situation, the person in the room or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and then they're going to show that. So then they do their spiel, they do all their talking, and then they're like, Taylor, you can say something. Y'all, I'm not going to say the words that she said, but this is how she starts out. Well, you know how they talk about her mental health all the time? Okay, so when I say the word re, which is what they blinked out at, you can just finish the thought with that. It's the slur for what people used to call, situations you had mentally going on or whatever. Okay, she goes, first words out of her mouth, ain't no re. And sorry, I didn't mean to mess that itch up like that. This is me watching. I was like, what? I was like, what? Oh my God. Oh, Hairball, thank you for being a member so long. Not the man flow. I was literally sitting there like, you have got to be kidding me. Thank you for being a member for 7 months, Lynn. If it wasn't Taylor, I would be more shocked and more whatever. Well, then she says this. She's like, I didn't mean to do all that or whatever. And she's like, maybe you could give me 10 days on the bracelet. And I'm thinking, is she asking to get out of jail, out of prison for 10 days on an ankle monitor? Like, where are we at with this, right? It was the audacity for me because I'm just like, can you imagine like a regular situation, a regular person, and like and it's happened, right? But the way she says it so legitimately, like in my mind, I was like, I think this is her being sympathetic. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I think legit, this is her having like empathy. Okay. This is her and her feels. I ain't no Ree. I didn't mean to mess that itch up like that. Can I get 10 days on a bracelet? I can't. I was, and the person she messed up was like, I can't go back to work. I mean, you wouldn't want to, right? I was like, y'all, no, and the way they wheeled her in there, and I will say this for her lawyer. Okay. He was sitting there, he's like, oh, wheel her closer to the table. She's whatever. Hold on. Luke. Oh, Lord. Luke, what have we got? He brought a stick in from outside and it's all torn to pieces. And now he's trying to bury various shards of it. Luke, what you doing? Okay. He's getting weird. Because Bo has some of it. So anyways, it was just crazy. So I'm going to work on that video probably later tonight or whatever. It'll be out sometime this week. But yeah, they gave her 90 days consecutive, right? She's a loose cannon. But let me finish my thought real quick. So her lawyer is just very much like, oh, wheel her closer. He's very much like not scared of her, not intimidated, kind of, okay, whatever. She was strapped into that chair or whatever. But it was crazy. I was like, well, here we go. We'll start tonight off with all that. So let's start off, first of all, by saying tomorrow morning, 9:00, we are going to be streaming, what's his name? Brian Walsh trial or whatever. Time out, y'all. So tomorrow is December 8th, and that is hold on. Chrissy, first of all, thank you. My apologies because I'm going away again. I have my cancer surgery on Friday, 4th surgery in a month. I don't want to go. Oh, God, Chrissy, I'm so sorry. Keep us updated on how that goes. Heavens to Betsy. I like that you're going live a lot now. I'm really enjoying that. And keep us updated. We love you. We're sending you good vibes. So tomorrow is December 8th. I have it scheduled for 7 a.m. We're not meeting at 7 a.m. I can 100% tell you that. So we are going to change that immediately, and we're going to go for 9 a.m. tomorrow is Brian Walsh. Okay, so there's that. Then Tuesday, 6 p.m. is Dr. Barry. Okay, so now that everything's that. So if y'all want to get here at 7 in the morning, put the coffee on, go to Starbucks, get some croissants going. Whatever you want to do, right? But we won't be here. So there's that. So 9:00 tomorrow morning, Brian Walsh trial will be streaming that for basically the day. I'll do my errands and stuff in the afternoon, but we keep it going. Hey, Sandy, what's up? I'll try looking your grandson's YouTube up in the way that you said to do, the second way you said. I'll try that later and check it out. I'm excited to see it. So cases, several things are going on, but I wanted to catch up on a few here that I haven't watched either. So I was like, I'll wait for y'all. Okay. First of all, Anna Kepner, this is the cruise ship murder at this point. So they had an emergency motion for like child custody or something. So there's a couple of video clips I want to look at that and just get caught up on. Anna is the one who went on the cruise ship with her family, and essentially she was staying in a room with a couple of, with like, I think a biological brother, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, and a stepbrother. Essentially, at some point, it ends up being the stepbrother and her in the cabin together. She ends up being found dead, stuffed under the thing the next morning. Do the math on that, right? The stepbrother, I'm confused on this. It's almost like I don't understand why nothing's really happened, I guess. I don't know. And let me Google it real quick, because to me, it's kind of obvious what took place. I mean, he was the only one in the room, right? He's claiming he didn't know what happened. He didn't know this. Now, I'm also being told that he was living there because of some situation that had already happened wherever he was at. So he was sent to live over there. So it sounds like a lot of trouble stuff going on. And hey, Northwest, and in Northwest, can you enlighten us at all on, pardon me, the Anna Kettner case? Is the stepbrother officially a suspect? Is he in any kind of custody? Or is he still just, is it like, I mean, I don't understand why that hasn't happened, but we might find out in this situation we're getting ready to watch right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to, I heard she was afraid of him. Yeah, she definitely had expressed concern over him. And in fact, her ex-boyfriend, pardon me, had seen him like climb up on top of her on a FaceTime where she had fallen asleep. They had tried to warn the parents, but they didn't want to hear it. And yeah, and Kristen says, I kept hearing younger brother heard something. Did he think it was normal? I ignored it. You know, he feels guilty. Oh, I'm sure he does. And he heard something in the room. It sounded like a situation, things getting thrown around, tossed, yelling, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's when I'm sorry, when the stepbrother was in the room with her, and then she is found dead the next morning. He's living with another relative. He is a suspect. Okay, so he's a suspect, and he is living with another relative right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen over here, and what it is this is the Anna Kettner stepbrother / ex-husband battle and emergency motion. This is 2 days ago, and this is via Law and Crime trial. Please hold, your call is currently important. I said, hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sippeth from the cup. And okay. I didn't mean to mess my itch up like that. I cannot with that. Can you imagine that being here's your chance to really get out there and let the judge know what kind of person you are. Oh, you know, another thing too. I filmed my video on Shonda Vander Ark this morning. If you didn't watch that hearing, I mean, it was forever. I put the highlights in my video. Yeah, she tried to play sick again at that hearing. The judge was like, you can't believe a word she says. Anyways, let's keep going. Here we go. So this is Anna Kettner, and this is an emergency custody hearing.
I wanted to address a couple of things. I reviewed the emergency motion for temporary relief, Mr. Smith, and it does appear as that a lot of the allegations alleged within that motion are really in the nature of contempt. I know that there is a contempt proceeding, a contempt hearing being held on December the 17th, I believe, before Magistrate Valentine. The court's purpose in the hearing today is only to address the issues as it relates to an emergency. So as I'm looking at the motion, the paragraph specifically that the court will address would be related to paragraph 7. The 16-year-old child is now a suspect in the death of the stepchild during the cruise. While released from custody, the 16-year-old child is residing with a third party. Paragraph 17, the 16-year-old's future has been put in jeopardy because of the choices made by the respondent. And paragraph 19, and most importantly, the youngest child is at immediate risk of abuse, abandonment, or neglect in the care of the respondent. So those are the issues that the court is going to address here this morning, is whether or not, in fact, the court needs to take some sort of emergency action based on those allegations contained within the motion. As it relates to the other provisions in there with regard to alienation and violating court orders, et cetera, I'm going to allow those. That was properly referred to the general magistrate, and that hearing has been set for December the 17th.
You know, I understand the court's ruling. Obviously, we think part of the alienation of the children is part and parcel of the immediate risk to the children because the father is limited in his contact with the children.
Well, and it's okay to address those issues because that goes to the risk to the children. But if the goal is for the court to hold mom in contempt because she's not allowing the children to speak to dad or something along those lines, that's really more of a contempt issue. So I'm really specifically interested in the risk of abuse, abandonment, and neglect of the youngest child. And also to hear the status of the middle child. I understand that there was a stipulation and that the child was residing with a relative.
I had to slow it down just a little bit because even for me, even though I'm like zooming on that peppermint mocha, I'm like, hold on now. Okay, I'm having to think right now to keep up with this right here. Okay, let's go down to about a 1.25.
Relative, a third party, that of course will be important to the court to determine whether or not the youngest child will have any contact with that child and whether that could create an imminent risk to the child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any questions then with regard to the court's ruling on that?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Athanasson, any questions from you?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Smith, you may begin with opening.
Your Honor, in this case, obviously, it's our position that the youngest child is at risk for a number of reasons. As the court is aware through the pleadings, there's a young lady who's passed away. That matter is still under investigation. That was not my client's child, but the stepchild of the mother in this case, and the remaining 16-year-old is now a suspect in that case. In this case, the mother took the children both on a cruise against my client's wishes, while preventing him from having regular contact with those children. We believe that the arrangements that were made by the mother, as far as the sleeping arrangements, were insufficient. That the 18-year-old, 16-year-old, and another 14-year-old were all placed in the same stateroom. There's indications that they may have, because they were in international waters, may have been engaging in activities that they normally couldn't engage in while they were in the United States properly being supervised. In addition, we will present evidence that through the older child, who's now 18, so he's an adult, but he is the son of the parties, as to violence, alcohol use in the past, and he's been living with his father for approximately almost 2 years now, since these parties had their separation, where, as the court is aware, there was an original divorce case, there was parenting time, both parties were in Hernando County. Then the mother relocated by agreement between the parties over to Titusville. Since she relocated to Titusville, that's when the problems have occurred, where the father has been very limited in his access to the children. I'd reserve with regard to any other comments until closing.
Well, let me ask you this question, Mr. Smith. If the oldest child has been residing with the respondent for 2 years, and this, we're dealing, I understand, I saw that there's a supplemental petition for modification that's also pending, so that would be an ultimate issue for trial. How would this, is it your intention to have the oldest child testify?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what if has the oldest child had any contact with the 2 other children or the respondent since he's been living with the petitioner for the last 2 years?
Well, one of the main things is the circumstances where he wound up living with my client. There was a physical altercation.
That would have been 2 years ago, correct?
A year and a half, yes, Your Honor. And he was also allowed to drink alcohol, which again, I think goes to the relevancy of whether these children whether the mother in this case encouraged the underage alcohol, especially on the cruise ship. And the violence that, this, again, the allegations are this 18-year-old has passed away in a violent manner. The 18-year-old will testify is that there was violence between himself, his mother, and the stepfather. And he has had recent contact with, I think that goes to the, whether there's any risk returning to the father. The child was allowed finally to come over for a Thanksgiving visit.
The child, okay.
She was restricted from contact with the one that there are allegations against, but did have contact with her adult brother, and exhibited no fear, no reservations. Both my client as well as the 18-year-old can testify about that.
Well, remember though, we're here on an emergency motion. So this isn't an issue as to where it is in the best interest of the minor children to reside. That is ultimately an issue for trial in the modification action. The only issue that we're here to address today is whether or not is in imminent danger remaining in the petitioner's care as a result of recent incidents. So that's really primarily the court's concern today.
But in Your Honor, I understand that position, and certainly whether or not the child is to be removed from the mother is whether or not there's an imminent risk to the child. I think the court also has to look at where the child would be placed in the circumstances there as to whether there's any harm to relocating the child. I think you have to, in terms of emergency relief and an injunction, essentially, you have to look at.
I think you're looking at 2 different things. This isn't an injunctive relief. I mean, you're not here seeking injunctive relief. I mean, that would have been in the injunction court, correct?
But we're seeking to have the child removed from the mother and placed with the father. So I think that the court needs to look at whether or not there would be any harm to that. Obviously, our position is there wouldn't be, that she'd be able to transition from father to father.
Okay, I'm not sure I agree with your argument, Mr. Smith, but I understand what your argument is. Okay, Ms. Anderson, opening?
Yes, yes, Your Honor. May it please the court. We believe, and I think we filed that in our response, that there's no emergency that exists. There was an incident on the cruise ship. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is investigating that. There have been no arrests made yet, but since my clients were advised that he was a suspect in that, after he was released from the hospital upon the return to the United States, he was placed with a relative of the mother's. And not only did that happen, but mom contacted dad, and dad signed an agreement to say that this child would be placed with a third party, thereby removing any risk of any danger to any of the other children in the home. So that has been resolved, and there's been nothing mentioned of that. Nobody's saying, I don't hear the other side saying that they participated in that in any way, whereas the father was advised and did participate. The minor child, you're going to hear testimony that she's fine, that there is no risk to her. There were abuse reports made. We have a person here from the Department of Children and Families that can attest that there's no concerns about the child remaining in the care of Chantel and Chris Kepner.
All right, thank you.
I thought the whole point of that video was the mom was on the stand. I don't, what happened with that? Hold on now. I mean, please hold. Was it a video, Amy?
No, I have not.
It's at 1.25 right now,
Do you
y'all.
swear from the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? You may inquire whenever you're ready, Mr. Smith.
Please state your name, ma'am.
Chantel Kepner.
And do you know Thomas Hudson?
Yes,
And how do you know Mr. Hudson?
we were formerly married,
And how long were you married?
about 12 years.
Yo, is it just me? And it's fine to say, Paul, you've just gotten older. Yo, she looks like a kid to me. I'm like, she looks so young. Oh my gosh. Do we know how old she is? Not that it matters, but it's just like, wow. I mean, she looks super young.
And do you have any children between the two of you?
We have 3 children.
What are their names and ages? And there recently was did you recently go on a cruise?
Yes,
And did any of the children go with you on the cruise? Did you reach out to Mr. Hudson to request that he agree to passports for the children?
I reached out to him to inform him of my itinerary to take the children on a cruise and did ask for the passports, but they weren't needed in this cruise.
And Mr. Hudson actually refused to cooperate with obtaining passports, correct?
To sign for the passports, yes.
You said passports weren't necessary, so they weren't obtained.
Correct.
As far as the minor children, what were the sleeping arrangements on this cruise?
Was in my room with my husband and his 9-year-old daughter, and then shared a room with his stepsister and stepbrother. The room was directly across from ours.
What was the stepsister's name?
Anna Kepner,
And what was the stepbrother's name? And how old is,
14,
and how old was Anna?
18.
Now, who made the decision to have these 3 teenagers in one room in the cruise?
We had talked it over with our travel agent, and that was what was suggested.
Did you have to sign any special permission for
No,
the children to reside together? So was it a mutual decision between yourself and your husband?
Correct.
And at some point, did you discover that one of the children had passed away?
Yes.
And when was that you discovered that?
Friday morning.
When was the last time that you'd seen the child before that Friday morning?
Thursday night.
You know, approximately what time?
Right around 6:30.
And your child, did you see him that Thursday night as well?
Yes.
What time did you see him at?
Closer to 7. Just a little bit before 7.
And what was he doing at that time?
He was headed back to his room.
Do you know whether or not he was present in the room as well?
They all were headed back to their room, as far as I know.
So where was their room in relation to your room?
Right across the hall. You walked out my door, their door was right in front of it.
Did you return to your room that evening?
Yes.
What time did you return to your room?
7 o'clock.
7 p.m.?
No, yeah, right. It was actually closer to 7:30.
Did you stay in the room for the rest of the night?
Yes.
Sorry, y'all. I forgot to mute while I drink. Sorry.
With the teenagers across the hall, did you ever go in and check on them?
No, I had went to sleep.
Do you know if Christopher went across the hall to check on them?
Not that I know of.
Do you know if Christopher left the room that night on that Thursday night?
I never seen him leave the room.
As far as goes, have you made arrangements to reside with a relative?
Correct.
And why did you do that?
It was something that his father and I mutually decided.
Did you suggest it to him or did he suggest it to you? Who brought it up first?
It was something that we had talked about because neither one of us could bring him back to our home.
Why couldn't you bring back to your home?
Looking out for the safety of the other children in the home.
Now, when you talk about the home, you have a home with Christopher, your husband?
Yes.
And does Christopher have other children that come to that home?
He has 2 other kids.
And one of them being,
Correct.
and the younger child that slept in the room with you as well?
Yes.
Still allowed to come to the home?
Yes.
How many bedrooms is the home that you're in?
We have a 3-bedroom house with an addition room downstairs.
So what are the sleeping arrangements when all the kids were there prior to this cruise?
The 2 youngest girls shared a room, the 2 boys shared a room, and Anna had her own room.
As far as the evening, that Thursday evening on the cruise, had you been drinking at all?
No.
Had you drank it all during the cruise?
I had 2 pina coladas and a blue Hawaiian earlier in the week, but it wasn't on the same day. It was like 1 a day.
Do you know if the children, based on being in international waters, could drink alcohol?
No.
You don't know?
No, they didn't. They're not old enough.
What about Anna?
I don't know.
Weren't you aware that the children were gambling at some point?
Well, Anna's 18, so I know she was in there at one point in time, but the other kids were not.
You're sure that the other kids were not gambling?
I'm sure the other kids were not gambling.
As far as does he have any diagnoses?
He has ADHD.
And how long has he been diagnosed with ADHD?
About 3 or 4 years.
Those after your separation from Mr. Hudson, correct?
About that timeline, yes.
And does he receive medication for his ADHD?
He does.
And what medication was he on for his ADHD?
Methylphenidate.
Would you pronounce that for me and spell it, ma'am, if you know?
Methylphenidate, I don't know the spelling.
Okay,
The name brand's Concerta. That
okay,
helps.
thank you.
And how often would he take that medication?
Every morning.
And did he take the medication on the cruise with
Yes. He also takes a nighttime pill as well.
the same medication?
No, it's clonidine.
What is that for?
Insomnia.
Did you hold on to the medications?
Yes.
Did you make sure he took his medications every day?
He took his morning pill every day, and he missed 2 doses of his clonidine at night.
You held on to the clonidine as well?
Mhm.
That's yes?
Yes, sorry.
And what do you mean he missed the dosage? What happened there,
He went to bed before he got it. He was already asleep.
including that Thursday night?
No, Thursday night he didn't get it. I fell asleep before he did.
So just to make sure I understand, ma'am, while on the cruise, he missed taking that nighttime medication twice. One of the nights was because he fell asleep prior to taking
Yes.
the medication, and the other night was the night before
Correct. I fell asleep before he
he
did.
fell asleep, so he did not get the medication the night.
Yeah, he didn't come
before
and
the
ask for it.
incident. All right, thank you.
And was attending school prior to the cruise?
Yes.
And after the cruise, did she have to be removed from school?
They placed her on homeschool. They just unenrolled her this past Monday.
And why is that?
That was their choice to unenroll her.
Say their choice. Who are you talking
The
about?
school's choice. It had nothing to do with her behavior or anything. It had to do with the media.
She's currently on a homeschool status indefinitely.
No, she's being enrolled into another school.
Did you discuss that with Mr. Hudson?
I let him know that he had asked me to let him know when she was enrolled, and I told him I would. But I just found out this week that she was unenrolled from the school.
As far as going to be allowed to come back to your home at any point?
At this time, no. Not with the FBI investigation.
Whether or not your husband will allow him to return to the home even if the investigation is concluded?
As of right now, he's not coming back to the home.
And, no further questions from me.
Thanks, sir. Cross?
Morning.
Morning.
Ms. Kepner, who all went on the cruise with you?
Myself, my husband, Anna, the 2 youngest girls, and then my mother-in-law and father-in-law,
What are their names?
Jeff and Barbara Kepner.
And where was their room in relationship to where your room and the children's room was?
2 floors above us.
Did they also help in the supervision of the children?
Yes, ma'am.
Anna, who we know passed away, she was 18, correct?
Correct.
And she was an adult.
Correct.
And was she given the option of staying in another room?
All 3 of the kids were.
And would that room have been with grandma and grandpa?
Correct.
And they didn't want to do that?
No, they wanted to stay together.
Did they all get along?
Yeah, they're the 3 of them are like the 3 amigos. They're best friends.
And with regard to questioned about him, he's not a suspect, or you haven't been advised by anyone?
Correct. He's not a suspect.
As far as you know, is the only suspect in the death of Anna, your son?
Correct.
And with regard to the schooling, this was the movement of the children from one school to another wasn't because you just decided to randomly remove the children, correct?
Correct. The school decided to unenroll all of the children at the school.
Okay. When you say all of the children, who
We had 4 total, including Anna, go to that school. They unenrolled the other 3 kids.
Okay, all right. Because of and you were told because of the media coverage?
Yes.
And did they give you the recommendations of the school that you have enrolled them in?
Yes.
And that this new school is aware of the situation?
Correct.
And there's been no problems with Anna at the school, or I'm sorry, at the school since this incident, correct?
Correct.
She's a good student. as far
Yep.
as-
Straight A's.
I don't believe I have any further questions at this
Thank you.
time.
Any redirect?
Mentioned her being a good student. Is she also diagnosed ADHD?
No.
Is she on any medications?
Yes, she takes migraine medicine daily.
And are you the one that administers that medication?
Yes.
How long has she been on that medication?
She's been on that medication for 2 years now.
No further questions.
Wow. I mean, wow. I got a little hair in my eye. So that's a lot to unpack. Yeah, so the vibe that I'm getting now, hold on, is I got a hair in my eye. The vibe that I'm getting now, Tanika, what's up, girl? Yeah, we had so much fun this morning watching our premiere with Tanika and I's collab on the main channel. Be sure and check it out and check out Tanika's channel. Hey, Casey. The more this is coming out, and when I say this, it's not like I wasn't thinking he was troubled or whatever, or the whole situation was, but it's becoming more clear where I'm like, oh, I mean, there was a lot going on here. So interesting that number one, she didn't give him his meds 2 nights in a row, or whatever. Number two, multiple kids were offered or whatever that wanted to, pardon me, hey, do you want to share the room? Whatever, they didn't. And yeah, a few people have commented about she seems like, honestly, almost seems like an afterthought. One thing that, yes, I mean, I agree. It just seems kind of like even watching her up there, the stepmom or whatever, there's almost like something seems removed. It seems so fresh. And like I'm watching this thinking this, these families, all of them in every way, are truly destroyed now. I mean, whatever's going to happen with the one son, the suspect, again, I don't know why he hasn't been charged. Like, I don't know what more there is to figure out about it, or how they're going to charge him, or how that looks, or whatever. Yeah, the flat affect. Yeah, wink beads. Yeah, the matter of fact with it is odd. And I'm just thinking at minimum, I'm like, this is going to be y'all's lives probably forever. I mean, it's going to start with this custody, this, that, court case, charges, criminal, this, blah, blah. I mean, this is it. And so I'm sure that there is that stress, obviously a stress level with it, but there's no sense of upsetness. And I know that I don't mean to put that on somebody to be like, well, my expectation is that they should act like blank, because, you know, I don't know how I would act in this situation myself. Right. So I don't know. And of course she's up there. She's probably nervous. She's probably this, she's probably that. Right. But it's just odd. And then hearing the decision-making processes that took place from start to finish, I'm like, this is, like, it was clear there was issues going on with this situation. Oh, Hairball brings up a good point. Stepmom might be medicated herself. Good point. And it almost gives that, right? Almost like, because she's just up there like, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Nope. Yep. You want to do the passports? Nope. We went anyways. Yep. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Where I'm just like, Yeah, Justice says it good. It wasn't so hold on, let me put your comment up here because this is exactly how I felt. It's not so much that she wasn't crying upset, she seemed to find almost angry. Yeah, there was something. Yeah, it wasn't that she wasn't crying and stuff, because I think there would be a level of stress and anxiety that would keep me from being like, oh God. You know what I'm saying? And I'd be more like, whatever. But she seems, yeah, like angry. Yeah, Way so Way says they all seem to be medicated, and that might be the case. That might be what's going on. Pardon me. Her bio mom moved to Oklahoma with a boyfriend when I was very young. Now, the bio mom, so let's get this straight. Isn't the bio mom that was the one that was not allowed to come to the funeral? And she was like, he said, meaning the bio dad, told me that if I did, he was going to hit me with all this stuff. And blah, 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 blah. That was Anna's bio mom. And yeah, like Amy said, Amy just wrote in the chat room, they ignored the warnings about the stepbrother suspect. That's the thing. There were so many things going on that, again, the dad. So the woman who we just looked at is the stepmother of Anna. Her husband is trying to get the kids like away, right, a custody here or whatever. And again, I'm like, I don't blame you, because the decision making process that we're seeing is this isn't good, right, at all. And I feel like too, the stepson / suspect, this would be a little bit different, not any less in the tragic part, but in the, I don't know how to say it. If there was documented stuff, there was already stuff going on that they should have been like a little bit like about this. And it seems like they ignored it. And then she was murdered. I mean, where do you go with that? Now, hold on one second. I want to look up this. Let's see. Anna. Okay, hold on. Okay, please hold. Cheerleader Anna Kepner's stepbrother sent to live with relatives after being named a suspect in her death. The stepbrother of Florida teen cheerleader Anna has been sent away to live with a relative. Yep, we've read that. We read that. Boom, boom, boom. Now the 16-year-old suspect's mother wrote that he has been sent away to ensure the safety of the child, according to the Daily Mail. A November 13th court document read, all parties agree that the teen's location will remain confidential and will not be disclosed to anyone other than his parents and law enforcement. I mean, yeah, obviously. We read that. Yeah, we read that. Read that. Okay, she also revealed that her 16-year-old son takes a daily cocktail of medication for ADHD and insomnia. He had skipped the 2 doses of the insomnia drug prior to Anna's death. The boy had fallen asleep without needing it the first night, and Chantel had gone to sleep without giving it to him the second. Anna returned to her cabin on the night of the alleged murder after telling her family she wasn't feeling well. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm just reading through this real quick. Okay, this says right here, quote, this is a very violent death. It's very personal because if we are to believe what we have been, at least at this point, told, we're talking about, hold on, I can't stand these things. We're talking about probably quite a bit of blunt force trauma. It almost seems rather savage. Joseph Scott Morgan, a forensic science expert at Jacksonville State University, told the U.S. Sun. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hold on, just going down there. Okay, so yikes. A lot going on there. Okay. So that's one of the things I wanted to look at. We're going to obviously keep following this and see what happens. Now, let's go on to the next thing here. And we'll kind of talk about some of these at the end. And then also the last thing we're going to look at is we are going to look at that Taylor business, just a clip of the hearing. So there's that. Please help. Okay, so next up, y'all, we are going to watch a hearing. I guess I'm going to speed it up to 1.25. Okay. This is Clenney. This is the OnlyFans model. This case, I don't even know where they have pushed the trial out. It has been going on for years. Okay. She was in court for a hearing. I don't even know what it's about. That's why I wanted to go over it with y'all and see what they're saying. Okay. So here we go. I first have to find y'all. There you are.
No, Ms. Gloss is not officially on this case. She's on the computer case that was all crossed.
Okay, I'm actually doing it normal speed right now because it seems sped up already. So let's see what this is because I want to catch the vibe first.
Okay, very good. All right, we're here now to address the state of Florida versus Clenney. Noted President Assistant State on Agriculture, attorney Creator, as well as Clenney, who is present in court. And I'll turn it over to the judge.
Sure, Judge. Just to kind of update the court, we have pending a motion to dismiss. We have pending a motion for reconsideration of bond, which we filed a second amended motion recently.
She's still asking for bond stuff. We're still there. We're still there. Okay, let's keep going.
We have a motion for bill of particulars as to count 2 of the information. We have a motion to suppress surreptitious recordings. We have a motion to compel 404 evidence. And we have a motion to limit concerning the CGI that we're working on. As of this morning, the only one that has been responded to in writing, which was last night at I think so roughly 7 p.m., was a response by the state. I have not reviewed the motion to dismiss. All other motions have not been responded to in writing at all, and my communication attempts with the state have fell on deaf ears until yesterday. I had not heard from them in probably about 30 days, despite repeated emails. I know Mr. Avalon was in a death penalty case and then out. I do understand that, and out for the holidays. But we need some hard dates for them to respond. Again, I know it appears Mr. Avalon may be in trial on Monday, depending on what the defendant ultimately decides. But you know, as we used to be called fungible to a certain extent, you know, there's multiple state attorneys that are on this case, and we need to get it moving. And again, you know, we've been asking for over 60 days. This is not subject to a motion, but we've been asking for over 60 days, and it's gone unresponded to. If they can just please have their VicWit update the addresses of all the civilian witnesses to make sure that, you know, in moving forward and serving them for depositions, that we're not chasing, you know, squirrels running around the country. So again, Mr. Abraham, last night in his very professional response, indicated that he's aware that these things need to get responded to, and he's doing, I guess, his best efforts to make that happen. But at this point, we're asking for some hard dates for the state to reply, and especially hearing date. I think the most paramount one in the defense's mind is the motion for reconsideration of bond. So I would ask, I'm asking for dates, response dates for all of these, but I would put that one in the forefront for him to have a sufficient amount of time to respond in writing and to set a hearing on that.
Okay. Is that it before I turn it over to the state? I mean,
I can't read my own handwriting,
Yeah.
but these, yeah, but I mean, that's where we're at.
Okay. So one thing I want to ask before I let you just respond in whatever way you wish is, I would love to take the easier things first. To me, one of the easiest things was great, but eventually was the addresses of witnesses.
Yes,
What's the
Judge.
status of that?
So Judge, I can tell you that the most that they've done is to try and make telephonic contact with them.
They being the victim witness.
My victim witness counselors. So and I apologize because we need to do more than just that, obviously. So I made a note for myself. As soon as I go back today, that's the first thing I'm going to tell them to do is confirm everybody's address one way or the other. Just so that I can get that to them hopefully by Monday.
Well, and I'm going to put a deadline on that for next Friday. So by next Friday, the 12th, all listed witnesses, now certainly I know that discovery tends to be an evolving process, or if something new arises, then this wouldn't be applicable, but any witnesses who are already on the witness list, you must provide updated addresses to the defense by Friday, the 12th.
Yes, Judge.
At 5 p.m. Now, do you intend to file responses in writing to the other defense motions other than the motions to dismiss that you've already filed?
Yes, Judge. So and not in any particular order, but I have I guess a request or a question for the defense. One of their motions is to admit a CGI video. I have not seen this video. I'm not sure if it's been created yet. It's hard for me to object to it or even have an opinion on it if I don't know what it is.
Okay, that's fair, Mr. Creator.
Sure, Judge, it's a kind of a preliminary motion, limine addressed more so to the court as to Mr. Buglisi was working on this, but we obviously work together, but it was more of a preliminary before we finalize anything with the CGI people. It's more of a base request with regard to the admissibility as a demonstrative aid versus evidence. It's not, obviously it's evidence based, but it's
Your
very
intention would be for it to be a demonstrative.
correct.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, there's changes in how the law applies. I don't think it's admissible,
Yeah.
but it's definitely demonstrative. So it's kind of a pretrial, that's why we named it motion limiting. We don't have a video. It's not complete. They've been working on it, but we just, before we go ahead and finalize the video, and obviously that's, the court's ruling on this pending motion limiting could change depending on, obviously, the expert witness testimony that would be presented, but we want to have kind of a direction before we go through the expenses of finalizing the actual video itself.
So I guess what I would want to have happen is if you have like a general idea or an example of something that has been created in some other civil litigation.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Judge, the company, and I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no, that's what I would need to say, okay, what do we even?
Sure.
Air in front of you.
The company is 3D Forensics. They have a 100% admissibility rate as far as being able to show they've never been denied. And we have samples of what they've done and the resume of the engineers that developed this technology and whatnot. So yes, we have all of that we can provide.
I think that would be something.
Certainly helpful, Judge, but the hard part about it is this comes down, especially for demonstrative purposes, a decision by the court. And it'll come down to the prejudicial effect of what this video actually shows. So,
So in general terms, if you provided an example of something that had been used in a similar litigation, which I'm sure, you didn't just come up with this out of thin air. Obviously, this exists, right? So I would need to see that type of an example. Then I think you would have to explain to both Mr. Aguilar and the court how you see and envision that playing out in reference to Ms. Clenney's case.
Sure.
That way then I could rule on a legal matter to say, okay, so yes, no, or a different
Right.
route, and then create the actual video for a final ruling at some point.
Right, absolutely. I think it's going to be subject to final ruling testimony by the experts as far as how the court's going to rule on that. But yeah, Judge, they've done everything from civil litigation, reenactment, vehicle collisions for personal injury cases to active police shootings. It's all based on video and then being able to get measurable points of reference, and then they do their fancy engineering stuff to it.
Which
But
is what the problem would be, right? The fancy engineering.
well, what this is, which is why this is, well, it's not different, but they use the raw data from the Faro scans that were done at the apartment to produce the scene.
Got it.
So that part clearly
We're dancing
it
around
can't be
in that-
contested.
I'm sorry, I didn't speak over you.
That's okay.
We're way far ahead of ourselves at this point.
Sure.
I think that I won't require necessarily the state to compile a response unless we were able to provide some sort of examples of how this would play out. So that one,
We can
that
take
to me
that.
is, yeah, that's way
Yes.
in the, not distant future, but in the future.
Yes.
What about the motion for reconsideration of bond, which I agree with Mr. Creator would probably be something we would do as a threshold of matter. Are you going to file a response?
I am, Judge. That's the next one I'm going to work on. So this is a third request of the defense for a bond. First, was the Arthur hearing, then there was another hearing for reconsideration based off of a medical examiner listed as well as a knife throwing expert. And now there is a secondary witness, which has not been listed yet, is the grounds for this one. So the only issue with my response is they have provided this person's report. I don't know if they intend to list this person or intend to actually use them, but I do need to depose them. So it's hard to say outside of just writing off of their report what it is that I would respond to. So.
Mr. Creator?
Yeah, Judge, I don't see why the state would need to depose this expert witness. It's an expert medical examiner from Hillsborough County that in the collateral civil case testified to matters pertinent to basic arguments that were made at the Arthur hearing by the state. The state argued at the Arthur hearing, quite honestly, and it wasn't Mr. Abrahoff, but a timeline where in the state's mind, right, as charging this as a manslaughter, the depraved mind, charges a second, right? The depraved mind aspect of which was the third element of what the state has to prove for answer. They claimed that Ms. Clenney allowed the alleged victim in this case to bleed out basically 13 to 14 minutes prior to calling 911. This expert, the defense's argument was no, she called 911 right away. The phone records show, right, that she called 911 at this, anyway, I'm getting into the minutiae.
Is there a transcript of the testimony that this witness gave at prior proceedings?
There is in the collateral civil matter,
Okay.
there absolutely is.
And is that something that you could provide to the state?
It would cost me an arm and a leg, but sure, I could order his deposition.
I mean, I think that at some point in the future, they're going to want to depose this person, but if you're relying on, and I'm not saying that it has to happen before the motion for reconsideration, fine, don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is, in order for the state to be able to respond, because that is one of the bases that you have put forth, then he needs to know what this person is going to say.
Right, I attached a very detailed expert report as an exhibit to the motion where Dr. Webb's, Malad Webb, details his findings, the basis of his findings. He refers to all the sources that he used to find it. All those opinions are contained in that expert report.
Okay,
So that's been provided to the state.
all right. How long do you need to file a response?
So again, Judge, so it depends on this trial. If this trial goes on Monday, I anticipate the trial will be finished Thursday or Friday. We have a probation hearing that I don't think is going to go on Friday. It should flee out. So in theory, I can start working on this either Friday or the following Monday.
Okay.
But I need to depose him. If I am provided this deposition, I don't need to depose him. I know what he's going to testify to. So the problem is a report is going to be a summary of what this person believes in.
I'm not going to have that. I'm not going to delay for a deposition for you to be able to respond. I think you can respond within the house.
And Judge, I did speak to Mr. Applehoff, and I told him, look, the gist of the report, and obviously look at yourself. This medical examiner determines, based on his review of an expert, I believe qualifies as an expert, but he says that the injury occurred more likely than not to his degree of medical certainty that Ms. Clenney called 911 immediately after the meeting.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Mr. Prater. When you talk about the fact that you want to prioritize the motion for reconsideration bond, which I agree, is that something that you are asking this board to do before we take a 2-week break during the holidays? In other words, does that have to happen before the 19th of December, or could it happen the week of January 5th?
Judge, I have to defer to the court and, you know, Mr. Adloff is entitled to respond, so I'll defer to the court and the state on this. I mean, but obviously, there's a long history here of delay for a lot of reasons.
I'm just
And
talking for scheduling purposes, because you know.
I will make myself available
Okay,
on the earliest date possible.
okay, who's back?
If we can set it for the 19th, Judge. The 18th.
I have literally said everything in this division for the 19th, and we're also supposed to host a little gathering for the staff after calendar. So why don't we do the 18th?
Okay.
I want your response done by the 16th at 5 p.m. And we will set the motion for reconsideration on 12/18. We'll just take a look and make sure that's not going to be problematic. All right, so what about the motion for bill of particulars? Does the state
Judge?
have a response on that?
By that 16th,
Okay.
well, the 16th, that one will be either handled or responded to.
Okay, bill of particulars by 12/16 at 5 p.m. All right, and the motion is to suppress.
So Judge, this was previously litigated before the Arthur hearing, specifically only to the Arthur hearing. There was motions filed by the defense, a motion filed by the state. The defense's motion is very similar. I don't think it contains too many differences. I do intend to respond to it. But based off of the items that I think are taking precedent, I would ask that this be rolled over to the new year. And I'd be allowed to respond by maybe that first week of January.
I have no problem with that, Judge. I would just alert the state that this is an amended motion to suppress. We previously withdrew the motion to suppress simply because, although it's filed under a different rule of procedure. Anyway, long story short is we amended it to specify the exact files as were provided to us in discovery that we're seeking to suppress so that they have them. And I would just urge this prosecutor, because his prior colleague filed a response, made certain arguments. I would just ask this prosecutor to review those and see if he wants to adopt those in his response.
I'm sure he will. So the motion is suppressed, response will be due by January 9th at 5 p.m. And what about the 404?
So I intend, honestly, we got a lot of it together for the Arthur hearing. There was one incident we were made aware of that occurred in Colorado. After the fact, we became aware of it. So it's going to take me not too much time to be able to put that together. The more important thing, though, Judge, is I don't want to list these incidents without actually having witnesses that will be available, or I know I'll be able to produce. So that's the amount of time I'm going to need is going to be more so collecting those witnesses. So I would request probably the middle of January for that.
Any objections to that, Mr. Bateman?
I would just ask that the state make their best efforts, because the designation of the 404 really impacts the manner in which we take their depositions. So now this is going to push those 404B witnesses. Actually, I think in the state's 404A, but it's going to now push us into February at the earliest. So I understand the state needs to research it. If they are relying on specific incidents, they need to gather police reports. If there are police reports, I think they're required to disclose that to us. So I know they've got some meat on the bone there, but I would just ask that they make, that's a hard deadline.
January 16th, 5 p.m.
And that's the witnesses Designating the witnesses plus any documentary evidence that they're required to provide under the law.
That's correct. All right, I think that we are.
Right.
Anything further to say at this time?
Just to confirm, Judge, we want to litigate that motion to dismiss on that date as well? Or I'm not sure if defense wants to file a response.
Prieto wanted to prioritize the reconsideration of bond, but that's fine with me if everyone would be ready to do that on the 18th. We can do both the reconsideration of bond and the motion to dismiss.
Was there and they've already responded, so I need to review that. Do you think the court,
There's no rush on it.
we
Judge.
have enough time on the 18th to do that? I don't want to cram the court's calendar because I believe we can set that off in early January as well. Or the 18th, I mean, I'll be ready. I think the state's ready, we'll be ready,
No, what are we talking about? Allowed?
I think, at the most.
Judge, the better question is going to be whether or not an evidentiary hearing is needed. I think
Right,
it's just argument. So I think, especially for
Let's
the,
do that, let's do both, and on the 18th,
Okay,
and then obviously we might get a ruling on the dismissal part, but.
right, I understand. And as far as evidentiary wise, there's already record evidence in the collateral proceeding that is sworn to testimony. And that was provided to the state.
I'm going to provide a copy to the court.
Yeah, no, I'll put together a binder for the judge, but yeah, I think that's right, and I don't, if I foresee some type of other live testimony being needed, we'll let everyone know.
Anything further, Mr. Adams?
No, Judge.
Mr. Xavier?
I think that's it, Judge.
Very good, I have a meeting that I need to
Yep,
get to.
absolutely.
Thank you all.
You got it, Judge.
Very
Take care.
good. Have a good weekend. We're in recess.
Sorry, I got confused there with the buttons. How are we still here 3.5 years later with no real signs of anything happening? They're still talking about bond reduction. I'm like, how? I don't understand. They have, I would love to know how much money it's cost the family. Literally. Okay. How much money has it cost? You heard him talk about a knife throwing expert. Now, if you're not familiar with this, basically, in my Sofa Squad opinion from the sofa, she is cray-cray. She stabbed her. She says she threw a knife across the room and it just happened to hit him in a very specific spot and it killed him and he bled to death, basically. So I think she was coked up. They got in an argument. She was incredibly jealous and she stabbed him. There was all sorts of issues with them. She tried to paint a narrative that he was like abusive to her and she was protecting herself. And then the family, his family, the victim's family had to really, really fight to get a bunch of video evidence released. And when it was released, I'm talking, this girl right here was beating on that man constantly. She would be black and blue with bruises from like fighting the dude. And when I say fighting, not like each of them punching. You could see some videos where he was a big dude. I mean, he could have taken her out if he wanted to. He would have to kind of almost protect himself, but protect her because she was one of those types from like, she's like beating herself up trying to attack him. And they were always calling the cops, always doing stuff. And I mean, they were the Colorado thing they were talking about. She wanted to go do a photo shoot. The photo shoot, if she showed up looking like that, I'm talking, she looked cracked out, number one. Bloody knuckle, all sorts of crazy stuff, which was interesting when she just showed her hands in there. She had that big thing on her thumb. I was like, yeah, she's got stuff going on. But I don't even know how they're still here. I mean, they are fighting this tooth and nail. And again, I mean, who knows? I don't know what kind of witnesses they're getting. One of the neighbors was like, I used to see him like beating up on her. And my first thing was, I'm like, how are you seeing in their place? But I'm like, he was probably like checking her out. She was an OnlyFans model or whatever. I mean, to me, like when they brought her in, and even when they interviewed her in the cop thing, she was wearing this. Now, mind you, it is what it is, but she was like wearing this kimono type thing, like a little I don't know, like a gown or something. She was like taking off her shoulder. She's just I don't believe her one bit. I think she killed him and she doesn't want to be accountable for it. It's just as simple as that. Okay, we're gonna do very quickly a couple more things, and then we'll head out because it's gonna get past everybody's bedtime. So let's move over to Sarah Grace Patrick. Sarah Grace Patrick is accused of murdering her mother, murdering her stepdad. Okay, she was in court recently. Okay, she's trying to move the trial, etc., etc. I'm just gonna read this to y'all. So a judge has denied a change of venue request for a teenager accused of killing her mother and stepfather. Sarah Grace is charged with the murder and aggravated assault in the deaths of her mother, Christian Brock, and her stepfather, James Brock. Prosecutors say that Patrick shot both victims and allowed her younger sister to find the bodies before calling 911. Now, if you don't know this case, one of the things here is like she immediately was like going to influencers and stuff on TikTok talking about, oh, this case. Like it was like she killed them for clout. I mean, it was really, really creepy. Really, really sad. Okay, so hold on, where did it go? My computer's doing something weird. Hold on. Please hold. Please continue to hold. Okay. So last week, Patrick's attorney, Latoya Williams, filed a motion arguing pretrial publicity surrounding the case is pervasive, inflammatory, community saturating, and overwhelmingly prejudicial, such that Ms. Patrick can't obtain a fair and impartial jury in this county. The attorney described the attention her client received as unprecedented and points to coverage by Court TV and People as part of the reason why the trial should be moved. In their response, the prosecutors pointed out that while Court TV has covered the case extensively, a viewing of these recordings would show that the coverage and speculation repeatedly reference the fact that the defendant is innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Prosecutors also note that Court TV is not based in Carroll County and that the network's coverage would persist regardless of the trial's location. I mean, this is true. The motion also notes that several online communities on social media have been created to discuss the case. The defense attached public comments written about Patrick and the case as an exhibit, but prosecutors highlighted that several comments were supportive of Patrick and that the group in question, comprising of 3,200 members, includes an international population, meaning much of the group wouldn't be eligible to serve on a jury in the case. On December 1st, court officials confirmed to Court TV that the judge denied the defense's request. She's due in court on December 6th. Her trial is for January 5th. So that will get pushed out again. Pardon me. And my first thought on that is she's loving the fact that Court TV is all over this place. She's loving that, right? I mean, she immediately ran to social media with this. I mean, that was her undoing. Netta Ginger says, oh, wait till they find out about the sofa jury. Yeah, and then Trash Panda says, she's the one who involved social media. Exactly. Right. So, pardon me. That one, that one's going to keep going and keep going and keep going. She was very young. She let her little sister, like I said, find the parents. You know, the little sister, the way the house is, she heard the gunshots, but this girl didn't. Sarah says she didn't. No. This is going to go for a while. She might play out. Who knows? We've seen it all, right? Okay, let's real quick. Let me pull this up. So 2 more things. We're going to watch a clip of Taylor Shabusiness's thing because we just have to, experience this together. I'm going to do a video for the main channel, but, here we are. They see me rolling. They see me trolling. Okay, hold on. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I can. Okay, so where we're going to pick up is her lawyer has done the little sob story about all of her life and all that. Oh, thank you, Emily. You know, about, oh, this and that and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so now they're getting ready to be like, girl, you want to say anything?
Sure. But the resolution here has been a disorderly conduct misdemeanor offense. I'd ask for you to consider 10 days jail concurrent to any other sentence and pay court costs. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Business, you have a right to address the court. It's called your right of allocution. Is there anything you want to tell the court before I pronounce sentence?
Well, I ain't no reason, and I didn't mean to go off on that like that at all. And I'm sorry for that, how it came off like that. It didn't mean to happen that way, and it shouldn't have. And I should get 10 days at least on the bracelet or something like that.
All right.
I can't.
The court is supposed to consider three things at sentencing: the seriousness of the offense, the need to protect the public, and your care.
I'd ask for you to consider 10 days jail concurrent to any other sentence and pay court costs. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Business, you have a right to address the court. It's called your right of allocution. Is there anything you want to tell the court before I pronounce sentence?
Well, I ain't no reason, and I didn't mean to go off on that like that at all. And I'm sorry for that, how it came off like that. It didn't mean to happen that way, and it shouldn't have. And I should get 10 days at least on the bracelet or something like that.
All right. The court is supposed to consider three things at sentencing: the serious.
Okay, sorry, I was muted before, y'all. So what I said earlier, y'all, was, first of all, she's smiling, okay? She knows what she's talking about. I should get 10 days on the bracelet. I assume she means let me go for 10 days. Like, she knows she's not going. This is a joke to her, right? This is a joke to her. I mean, she's just like sitting there like, I didn't mean to go off on that itch like that. First off, I'm not no re. Come on. Come on.
Seriousness of the offense, the need to protect the public, and your character, what kind of treatment needs that
Look
you
at
may
her
have.
face.
As far as the seriousness of the offense goes, it's a assaultive behavior in a confined setting, in a prison setting. It's serious for that. It was amended down to disorderly conduct. I think that amendment probably adequately addresses the facts of the case and takes into consideration your agreement to enter a plea to that count. But again, it's serious because the incident happens in what should be a secure setting. Not only is it a place that people are being housed, taken from society, but there's COs that work there. There's medical staff that works there. There's social workers that work there, and they should be protected as well. The need to protect the public, Mr. Business, due to your current situation, the public at whole maybe doesn't need to be protected from you. But as I said, the other inmates and the workers at Tachita, they should be protected from you. And so this kind of behavior is inappropriate, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous to yourself as well. You could have been hurt, seriously injured, or anybody else that's involved in the situation. I do know you're here to take responsibility for your actions. I give you credit for that. I think that goes to your character. I also think that
Goes to her character.
your willingness to accept responsibility played a part in the state's amendment from a felony to a misdemeanor. And so I think that's addressed in that regard. Given all that,
Why do they just keep pushing things like this along? I get like it is what it is. The way he's like, well, your thing to take responsibility. Why are we blowing smoke up her butt? Why? I mean, this is ridiculous. Well, given the state that you did this and then, honey, how many times has she been up in here already? Intact lawyers. She'll be in here next week. I mean, this is what's crazy. Look at the looks on her face. Like her face just constant. It's like a roller coaster. It's like she's literally in her own conversation. Imagine your cellmate with this look. Like you're having a conversation with her, and that's how she looks at you. I would literally be like, guards, she's gonna eat my arm off and kill me overnight. Period. Do not let me in here. Do not let me out of here. What do I have to do? What do I have to do to get out of here?
The maximum penalty you face potentially is 90 days in jail or $1,000 fine. The court does find a maximum sentence is probably appropriate. The court will sentence you to 90 days in the Fond du Lac County Jail. That'll be consecutive to any other sentence. Miss your business. You have a right to appeal my decision. You go over that with your attorney. I would just ask you to sign that paperwork and file it with the court before you leave. I don't believe that she would have any credit. Is that correct, Mr. Freilich?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Given she's serving a sentence. Okay.
Yes.
Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Freilich, anything?
No, nothing further.
Miss your business. Do you understand your sentence? Do you have any questions about it?
I'll do the 90 days.
Okay. I would just ask you, Mr. Freilich, if you'll go over the appeal paper with her and file it with the court before you leave, okay?
I will, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Wait, I meant to show you one more thing. Hold on. You saw her flip them off. Okay, now hold on. I meant to show you one more thing in that. Hold on. Let me find it. Hold on. I'm just trying to find the thing I want to show you. Hold on. Okay, now watch this. He's asking them to like take her thing and get it closer. Brave man. Brave man. She asked, who is that? He was like, that's
Sorry,
the
argument. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, what was that, Judge?
Your argument.
Okay, now hold on one second and I'll show you this. This is the attack. Hold on.
What is that in your ears? What is that? I'm telling you, I will give this woman credit. She is very creative. Very creative, for sure.
Stop resisting! Stop! Stop resisting! No! Yes, no! Straight her! Straight her! Straight up, deployed! North Room, between RHO! Stop! Stop resisting! The other way.
I mean,
And I'm gonna give the jump drive to the clerk
Look
so
at
that
her.
that can be part of the record.
She's like, who was that? What are y'all talking about? That wasn't me. My hair's long. My hair's not in braids. Y'all, the way it looks like they emptied 3 or 4 bottles of spray on her, and she wasn't slowing down a bit. Okay, she wasn't slowing down a bit. Right? Mm-mm. Nope, she was gonna keep it going. I felt like that one nurse at the end, she just came in. She came in from left field just to get a kick in. Like, watch this part when I show it. She just comes out of nowhere. Like, she'd been wanting to do this for a while. She was like, I'm about to get, I've been wanting to do this for a minute. I'm gonna get one in real quick before she goes. Oh, let me find her. Where's she come out? She just came out of the blue.
North Room between RHO.
There she is. Wait.
Stop resisting.
There she is. Look. She went, bam.
Get out of the way.
She went, well, let me get one more in. She's like, get out of the way. She's like, get out of the way now. I got you on video. She came running up from another bay. She was like, bam. Crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Okay. Luke. Hold on. Okay, so y'all, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna wind it out because the boys are ready to go. They're like, we've been up here way too long. So, Luke, hush. Come. Just hold on. So, yeah, 9 o'clock in the morning, a.m. Time wash. We'll reconvene. We'll do all that. Luke, hush, sweetie. Hush. It almost sounds like a train's going somewhere. Good night, Tori. Thanks for coming in. Anyway, so he's just going to have to bark for a minute. Sorry, everybody. So tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., Brian Wash. And thank you, mods, for being here. Thank you, squad, for being here. Thank you, dogs, for being here. We'll close out with Slow Morrison song. And we will see y'all in the morning. Y'all have a good one. Thank you, everybody.
The pillows are fluff thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough. Join the family. It's all love while we laugh at first criminalities. Hey, welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please. The puppies need me. Oh, please. My body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Puppies need me, oh please. My body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.